So this is my professional teaching standards in InTASC and NCSS. My name is Jordan Weaver, and this is my presentation. So the objective of this presentation is for the viewer to better understand the correlation between standards in the Interstate New Teacher Assessment and Support Consortium, or InTASC, and the National Council for the Social Studies, NCSS, and implement them into their lesson for their students. So InTASC, it gives the model of teaching standards for what teachers should know and be able to teach their students between grades kindergarten through 12th and ensuring they are ready for college or the workplace. And this is to keep them, to ensure that every state has some sort of standards that are the same. The National Council for the Social Studies Task Force on Teacher Education Standards explains the national standards for preparing for and teaching social studies in class. Application of content. Both InTASC and NCSS focus on content knowledge for students, even if they are not precisely the same. Teachers must be able to engage their students in disciplinary forms of learning to better grasp the material being presented, and teach integrated and complex concepts, not just focus on the specifics. Teachers must be able to plan learning sequences for the students to be able to engage students, help them demonstrate knowledge of social studies that aligns with the C3 framework for the NCSS, and for InTASC, teachers must be able to create projects that help students analyze material learned in class and engages their students in applying their learned knowledge as well as using tools and resources that they have learned. How it relates to knowledge, skills, and values of the effective teachers. Teachers should know the material being studied and should be able to present their material to students by inciting critical thinking. Teachers should be able to present their material and have students engage with the material, be able to discuss it, however they feel they can better grasp and demonstrate that they know the material. So, instruction and assessment. Both InTASC and NCSS use assessment to measure the knowledge of the material being taught. Both implement technology to assess data and the learning ability, and both wish to engage learners in self-assessment. So, InTASC, the assessment is used to document what students have learned from their teacher. It demonstrates their knowledge of the material presented to them and lets the teacher know which students are grasping the material, and if necessary, changes in instruction need to be made. NCSS, it is used to measure and document learning and comprehension of the material, as well as being able to demonstrate the standards set by the state, and used to see if necessary changes to the instruction need to be made. How it relates to knowledge, skills, and values of effective teachers. The assessment helps teachers better understand what their students are grasping and how effective their methods are. Assessment helps teachers better understand if their students are engaging in the material or simply memorizing it to be forgotten later. Assessments help teachers better plan for later lessons and to change what is not working for their students and implement different teaching methods. Collaboration. InTASC, so when teachers collaborate with each other, it improves practice, lesson planning, data usage, and many other things that enhances their abilities to teach students. Collaborating with the student as well as their colleagues is highly encouraged and expected. This gives them the ability to learn their students and what works for their students, what doesn't work for their students. Every student is different. Not every student learns the same, so this is a great technique. For NCSS, collaboration is necessary between students and is important in the learning environment. Data-driven instruction. For InTASC, data-informed assessment should be conducted at least once a year with state testing and how to use the information collected to better understand the progress of learning by students and adjust teaching where it is needed. For NCSS, Data-driven instruction is important in order to promote civic life. Data collection instruments also need to be taught to students in social studies, as it is an important factor in civic life. Technology has become a major part of everyday life as well, so therefore it is important to teach research and data collection through technology so that students will better understand how to use the computer to gather the data that needed for their research. Teacher expectations. For InTASC, it is the teacher's responsibility for students to effectively and efficiently learn, and if they are not learning, to change their techniques in teaching to address every student's needs. Teachers are leaders and must demonstrate their skills. For NCSS, teachers must know their students and their needs when it comes to learning the material provided. They must understand their students' learning identities as well as their socio-cultural assets and implement them into learning. And these are my references. Thank you very much.